So as a part of our Game Awards celebration, we just had a Day of the Devs presentation where we saw a bunch of new indie games. And I'm going to do a quick breakdown where I talk about every game that we saw today, but I'm going to do it really, really quick because there's a lot of games to talk about. Before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whatever the case is. Let's talk about indie games. So the game that started the showcase was Millet Sionir. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. But basically you've been wrongly accused of doing a crime, and now there's just a giant police officer that sits in the middle of the city and watches your every move. The developer described it as a dating sim, except instead of falling in love, you end up going to jail. So all of your actions will have consequences. Whether you move an item, break an item, somehow it's going to piss off this policeman and probably get you sent to jail. Loose Leaf is a tea making simulator from the team that brought us Boyfriend Dungeon. From a first person perspective, you'll control the temperature, the ingredients, the timing, and everything else to make your perfect cup of tea. This isn't just an ordinary tea simulator, it's a witch tea simulator. So you have to build relationships with your customers by reading tarot cards and letting them know what their future holds, all while making a lovely scorching hot cup of tea. Thank goodness you're here is an upcoming slapformer. Yeah, that's the name that they gave the genre. But essentially it's a 2D adventure game chock full of British humor. Now, as an American, I can't say how British humor works, but apparently it's gonna be really funny. While you've got some time to kill, you get to explore the town, meet new people, and find some odd jobs to help make their day a little bit easier. Just from the trailer, all of the dialogue seemed like it's a mockery of how Americans mock British people. You know that dumb way we do, like, hey bro, catch me. Yeah, it looks super funny, it looks hilarious, super self-aware. Can't wait to check this one out. If you're unfamiliar with kind words, lo-fi beats to write to, it's a game where you get to sit at your desk and write letters to strangers on the internet. Think of it almost like a venting simulator, kind of talk about some things you're going through, how you're feeling, how you feel around your friends, your family, your loved ones at work, everything like that, and just kind of get a bunch of stuff off your chest. Well, in this new sequel, Kind Words 2, Lo-Fi City Pop, you get to finally leave your bedroom and explore the city around you. You can go to your local coffee shop to write some poetry, stargaze while making wishes, and converse with everybody in the streets and talk about your day. Kind Words 2 is a space for people to share their deep-seated insecurities and rid themselves of that feeling of loneliness in this chill, cozy social media-like game where it's all about sharing love. Fly in the back of a giant bird to find new birds to add to your flock, in Flock. The world is filled with surreal-looking creatures to examine and recruit. As you find new creatures, you have to study them and decide which classification of bird that they fall under. I guess maybe not bird, they're all just kind of weird creatures. They're sheeps and snakes and all kinds of stuff, but they fly with you, so that's cool. And you can explore this vibrant natural landscape solo or in multiplayer. Hermit and Pig is a turn-based action RPG about an old man and his truffle pig. These two prefer to be on their own and avoid talking to people, much like most of us do, and all they like to do is dig for truffles. But one day a stranger shows up on their front porch and needs help finding the Jumbo Fungo. Rather than leveling up and making your character stronger, it's all about finding the patterns of the combat and then getting better as you progress. This next one's a doozy. This is Dome King Cabbage. So Dome King Cabbage is a super surreal visual novel set in the world of a monster collecting RPG. So imagine if Telltale Games made a Pokemon game, but it was in one of those I Spy books from elementary school. I know that sounds super weird, but like you just have to look at this trailer and see what I mean. During the trailer, they talked a lot about the developer and how he kind of got to where he was with the game, so I still don't truly know what I'm looking at here, but I'm excited to dive into it and maybe lose my mind in the process. We saw Ultros at a PlayStation Indie Showcase a little while back, and it looks even better than it did before. Ultros is a psychedelic Metroidvania all about helping nature and finding new plants to grow your skills. The few moments of combat that we saw looked pretty brutal, almost like a 2D Souls-like type of deal. But if you're familiar with the Adult Swim show Super Jail, just imagine that, but kind of like a video game. It looks pretty wild. I just spoke about this game in a recent video, and this is Holston, a top-down 1990s Poland psychological horror game. In this pixel art horror game, every single asset was made with multiple angles, so you can rotate the camera and still get that nice nostalgic feel about it. And when you enter combat and aim down sights, it goes from an isometric view to a third-person over-the-shoulder view. And if you want to see Holston for yourself, you can check out the demo on Steam. O is a musical roguelike game. Yeah, that's a new one for you. Experiment with machines and add your own unique musical taste to each instrument. You'll collect and combine musical snippets and then save them to your own cassettes. The more levels you beat, the more you get to customize your cassettes and your train, as well as share your tracks online. Oh man, collecting music? Yeah, this sounds like a Mike Townsend game for sure. Explore the struggles of a necromancer striving to achieve his full potential in Cryptmaster. Now, I didn't get to play the demo for this one during the last Next Fest, but from the looks of it, you're going to talk to this necromancer, and the more words you come up with, the more letters you get to add to your pocket. And as you're crawling through these dungeons, you can type out words, which then create actions on the screen. For example, if you spell it H-I-T, that's hit, you'll hit the thing in front of you. I don't know how deep this is going to go, but I sure hope it's hella deep. Llamasoft, the Jeff Minter story. This one's kind of wild. This is an interactive documentary where you explore the mind of Jeff Minter, who's a big name in the British games industry scene. You get to root through photos, video interviews, and many more memories as you play through 40 plus retro Llamasoft games. This will also include unreleased and remastered versions of some of the titles. If you've ever wanted a fighting game all about drag queens, then Drag Her is right up your alley. Fight through centuries of real-life drag queens as you find out who's the real top in a world of bottoms. Also, I didn't come up with that was in the trailer, and I love it. This game's supposed to be easy to play, but surprisingly deep when it comes to the combat, and it's heavily inspired by classic fighting games. This classic indie platformer is finally getting the remaster it deserves. Braid is a 2D platform where you'll solve puzzles, and if you die, you can rewind to make sure that everything gets done properly. This anniversary edition is going to feature 4K visuals, 9 times the pixels of the original, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes developer commentary. So if you never got to play the indie classic Braid on the 360, here's your chance. Open Roads is the adventure of a mother and daughter going on a road trip to discover their family's hidden mystery. Enjoy the amazing 2D cutscenes followed by exploring 3D spaces as you sift through old family photos, documents, and more with the rumors of a hidden fortune awaiting you. Janet de Mornay is a slumlord and a witch. Yeah, it's a long-ass title. But if there's anything scary in this world than not being able to pay rent, I'd like to see it. So Janet de Mornay is a horror game set in the developer's old house. All about dealing with mold, structural damage, and flooding when you have a landlord who likes to fix everything themselves. And I think we all know how that's gonna go. And also your landlord's a witch, so everything that gets fixed always ends up with some kind of trouble. This is definitely a unique take on a horror game, and I'm really interested in seeing how this one plays out. Home Safety Hotline is a text-based horror game, where you play as a phone operator answering phones and finding out what's bothering your callers. You'll load up your 1996 work computer, check your emails, and then clock in to start taking calls. As people call in, they'll explain to you what's bothering them, and you'll sift through your database to try and figure out what creature it is in their basement. Just make sure you get it right, because if you don't, your boss is going to get an angry phone call, and you might not have this job much longer. My personal highlight from the show was Resistor, a turbocharged, narratively driven car PG. You'll play as Aster, who's given up on racing for the rest of her life after her father dies in a car accident. But once you get exiled from the city, you take the wheel back up to save your sick and elderly mother. You'll race to win first place while timing your tricks to the beat of the music, flip over enemies, knock them off the track, and compete against a bunch of other racers who have their own reasons for winning. From the team behind Snipper Clips, we get The Mermaid's Tongue, the sequel to another of their games, Detective Grimoire. You'll play as Detective Grimoire as you rotate objects to find new clues about the murder of a ship's captain. As you explore this abandoned submarine, you'll solve puzzles which you can then use to piece clues together and see if you can find the culprit. But also be sure to see if your partner Sally's on board with your deductions. From the team that brought us Genesis Noir, this is the follow-up, Nirvana Noir, an adventure game set in a cosmic city with endless traffic where you play 2 separate lives. The main character No Man lives 2 separate realities that cause a lot of trouble. Learn to speak other characters' languages through dialogue options, and follow leads to hunt for clues while listening to some dope music from Skillbard. And before wrapping up the show, there was a quick sizzle reel of all the demos that you can check out at this weekend's Day of the Devs live event in LA, including 1000X Resist, Icota, Anton Blast, Arco, Arta's Rifle, Bits and Bops, Braid, Combo Devils, Crow's Country, Crowhorn, Cryptmaster, Death of Guitar, Dispolote, Dome King Cabbage, Dragger, Echo of the Waves, Flock, Give Me Toilet Paper, Go Mecha Ball, Herman and Pig, Holston, Home Safety Hotline, Horses, Janet de Mornay as the Slumlord and a Witch, Kid Pharaoh, Kind Words 2, Last Time I Saw You, Leximan, Llamasoft, Mars After Midnight, The Mermaid Tongue, Niavi, A Birdie, Oh Da Da, Resistor, Simpler Time, Sophia the Traveler, Sorry We're Closed, Sulfur, Thank Goodness You're Here, Two Strikes, Ultros, Valley Peaks, Whisker Squadron Survivor, and Xenotoad Hostile Pinball Action. Really wish I could be there for the event myself. Unfortunately, I can't this year. Maybe next year? Listen, I just want to meet these dope-ass developers. They look really cool. But of course, we can't end one of these showcases without having just one more thing. And that one more thing was Among Us is coming to Vampire Survivors. On December 18th, you can check out the Emergency Meeting DLC for Vampire Survivors, coming to Steam and Xbox consoles, and it'll be coming to mobile Nintendo Switch sometime after that. And there is everything that we saw at Day of the Devs. If any of these games look dope to you, please be sure to go wishlist them, even if you're not going to play them on Steam. Long story short, Steam wishlist equals success, success equals console ports. So if you want to play any of these games on your PlayStation, Xbox one day, go wishlist them on Steam. Please. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed, I will be making one of these about the Wholesome Snack Showcase a little bit later. I just have to catch my breath. There's a lot of talking today. And don't forget, we'll be doing a live co-stream of the Game Awards Thursday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to play some marbles, then the Game Awards. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.